you should be able to taste these through your screen. How good do these rotisserie ribs look? Eating ribs this tasty should be illegal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cook perfect pork ribs on a rotisserie. So just sit back, grab a drink or two, and let's get into it. Now, cooking time for this recipe is 1 hour and 45 minutes, or for those of you who love to use my beer timer, you're looking at a 4-beer cook. Cheers! And don't forget to like, share, comment, it all helps, and subscribe. For this recipe, we're going to need some ribs of the pork variety. Baby back, spare ribs, St. Louis style, doesn't matter, whatever you want to use it. I grabbed these ribs from the Master Meat Tenderizer Mick down at Gippsland Premium Meats. Now the only prep needed on these is I'm just going to neaten up the edges. This isn't necessary, I just want to do it. Now I won't be removing the membrane on these ribs.
What is wrong with you?
Relax, the membrane will soften up and will not affect the end product. Trust me, I'm a scientist. It's time to season these ribs, and this is where you can be creative and use any barbecue rub you like. Beware though, if you use a rub that is heavy in sugar, it will burn. I'm going with lemon pepper flavour today. Now just coat the back side of the ribs first, and don't forget to give your meat a good pat. Flip them over and coat the top side as well. Don't forget the ends and the sides. Done. We're going to leave these alone to sweat for around 20 minutes and dissolve that seasoning. As it does this, the seasoning will be drawn into the meat, which will help tenderize and flavour it. Now grab your rotisserie rod, making sure you've left one of the spikes on it. Stab the ribs between the first and second bone. Go down about 3 or 4 more bones. Stab again. Repeat. Do it again. Do that again. And then out through the other side. And then cap it off with the other spike. And once you're done, you should have a magical meat sword that looks like this. We just pop these aside while we get the barbecue ready. Today, I'm using a 57cm Weber kettle, and I'm pairing it up with 1 charcoal basket and the rotisserie ring attachment. Why? Because I want to be cooking on a rotisserie of temps around 150 degrees Celsius today. How I'll do that is by half filling a chimney starter with lump charcoal and then lighting that up. And once it's fully ashed over, you're going to grab your charcoal basket, place it to one side of the charcoal grate and dump the fuel into it. Don't forget to add a drip pan to catch the fat. Carefully put the grill back in. And then remember, we don't need the grill for this cook. Add the rotisserie ring, and it's time to get the ribs into the Weber. And look how the rubs become all moist, smucked. Pop the rotisserie shaft in, grab some smoking wood. I'm going with 1 chunk of cherry today, and just place it directly on the hot charcoal. Now push a button and get it to start to spin, and pop the lid on, opening all the vents, and make sure the lid vent is on the opposite side to that charcoal. That way we're going to draw the heat and the smoke over our ribs. If you don't own a rotisserie, you could attach a coat hanger to a drill. That should work the same way. I want to add more flavour and baste these ribs every 30 minutes with a sauce. So into a small saucepan, you want to add 100 grams of salted butter, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 3 cloves of crushed garlic. Heat this over a low heat until the butter is all melted, and then remove from the heat. The ribs have been cooking away for 30 minutes, so let's lift the lid and see how they're looking. Well, they look like ribs that have been smoking away for 30 minutes, so they look perfect. So we're just going to give these a brushing all over with that lemon buttery garlic sauce, and pop the lid back on, and we're going to let them cook away for another 30 minutes. Or half an hour if you can't wait that long.
Oh, that's a good dad joke.
We are 1 hour into the cook now, so it's time to lift that lid again. Oh, nice. We are getting a little bit of pullback on the bones, and that colour is starting to look really good. Grab the lemon butter marinade, and we're just going to baste these ribs again. And I suggest warming this up in between bastings. It doesn't need to be boiling hot, just warm it up a little bit. Pop the lid back on, and we're going to let the ribs ride out for another 30 minutes. That's an hour and a half in. Time to lift the lid again. These ribs are smelling fantastic and they look great. We're just going to baste them again, making sure you get both sides. Pop Pop the lid back on and we're going to let them cook away for another 15 minutes. And that'll be enough time for that basting sauce to just settle down a bit. Did you know collagen turns to gelatin in the pork ribs when the internal temp reaches 71 degrees Celsius? So when this happens, the meat becomes more succulent and moist. Smacked! That's 1 hour and 45 minutes spinning around. It is time to get those ribs off the rotisserie. How good do they look? Now just slide the rotisserie rod off the ribs and now just turn them over because it's easier to cut them into singles when you can see the bones. And life's all about making things simpler. Now just shove them in your gob and enjoy.